ক্লাস 12-এর একটা পোয়েম পড়াবো আজকে। মানে মোটামুটি আমাদের দুখানা পোয়েম পড়ানো হয়ে গেছে আজকে। ওই সনেট নাম্বার 18 শ্যাল আই কম্পেয়ার দি টু সামার্স ডে, ওইটা একটু পড়াবো। তার আগে একটু জাস্ট বলে রাখি, আমরা তো অলরেডি সনেট পড়ে এসেছি, মানে ধরো আমরা পেট্রার্কান সনেট পড়ে এসেছি। উই হ্যাভ অলরেডি read the Petrarchan sonnet, but we have not read any Shakespearean sonnet. There are some basic difference between Petrarchan sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet. We know that Petrarchan sonnet is known as Italian sonnet. On the contrary, Shakespearean sonnet is known as English sonnet. So regarding the rhyme scheme, there is difference. In Shakespearean sonnet there are 3 quatrain and a concluding couplet, and in the Petrarchan sonnet there are octave and sestet. So these are the and also regarding the rhyme scheme, there is also difference in rhyme scheme. In Petrarchan sonnet there is ABBA, ABBA, CD, CD, or CD, 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 and in Shakespearean sonnet the rhyme scheme is ABAB, CDCD, EFEF, GG. So these are the difference, basic difference regarding the rhyme scheme. But Shakespeare altogether wrote 154 sonnets. So this is called sonnet sequence. And what is in your syllabus? That is sonnet number 18. So number 18, the 18th sonnet is in your syllabus. Sonnet sequence also written by many other writers, many other poets before Shakespeare, as for example Sir Philip Sidney, Edmund Spenser. They also Daniel, they also wrote sonnet sequence. But Shakespeare deviated from the way the earlier poets or sonnet writers wrote sonnet. We know that sonnet is a poem of 14 lines expressing a single thought, but Shakespeare deviated from the earlier sonnet writers, the sonnetteers. Generally in sonnet, woman is addressed, and this woman is a beautiful lady, beautiful, she looks beautiful, having fair complexion. But Shakespeare in his sonnets, he deviated from this path. If you read very closely, you will find that his first 126 sonnets are addressed to a male. Generally female is addressed, but Shakespeare deviated from that path. He addressed male. 126 sonnets are addressed to male. This male is named as regarding the identity, there is confusion regarding this, who is this male. Only it is mentioned Mr. WH, and regarding the identity of Mr. WH, the critics are of the varied opinions. Some critics say that Mr. WH is Henry Wriothesley. Henry Wriothesley is the Earl of Southampton, and many other critics are there. They said that it is William Herbert. William Herbert is the Earl of Pembroke. Most of the critics, they and also there are many critics, they also regarded, they also named many other persons of this name Mr. WH. But most of the critics, they got stuck to 2 names. It is Henry Wriothesley and William Herbert. So these are the 2 names which are the most prominent regarding the identity of Mr. WH. I'm not, I'll not say very detail regarding the introduction of Shakespearean sonnet because the time is not so much. But what I will say, I will focus only few things regarding the theme of Shakespearean sonnet, the theme that is in your syllabus. The theme is verse immortality. Verse is immortal, and that has been mentioned by this by the poet William Shakespeare. And you'll read if you read this poem, you'll find that that theme. Another thing is that I told earlier that first 126 sonnets are addressed to a male friend, Mr. WH. The rest of the sonnets, rest of the means that from 127 to 152, these sonnets are addressed to a dark lady. Again, Shakespeare deviated. Earlier sonnetteers, they addressed their sonnets to a fair lady, but Shakespeare deviated from that, and he addressed a dark lady. Regarding the identity of dark lady, the critics also find that it is perhaps Mary Fitton, a lady from the court of Queen Elizabeth. And last 2 sonnets, 153 and 154, addressed to god of love, Cupid. So in this way, the sonnets are divided written by William Shakespeare. Let's come to the sonnet. Sonnet number 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. So first it starts with an interrogation. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? So you know that regarding the interrogation, if the question is asked in negative, then the answer will be positive. If the question is asked in positive, affirmative, then the answer will be negative. So shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Shall I compare? So the answer is that I shall not compare thee to a summer's day. Thee means the poet's friend, and it is archaic expression or biblical expression. Thee, thou, art, these are biblical expression. expression, this kind of expression can be found in Bible. So Shakespeare in the very first line said that he must not compare the beauty of his friend to the beauty of summer. Summer is the most beautiful season in England. That's why summer means the beauty, the youthful vigor, you can say. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Shall I compare you? You means the friend. Shall I compare you to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. You are, art means are. Thou, you are more lovely and more temperate. You are more lovely and more temperate. You are more beautiful than a summer day. There are drawbacks of summer also. In summer, rough winds do shake the darling birds of May. In summer, rough winds blow and they shake the darling birds of May. So all the birds, sweet birds is the very primary stage of the flower. So when the flower is about to bloom, that stage. So the rough winds, with the heavy winds, they blow the heavy winds blow and they just shade the darling birds of May. So all the birds, they fall down. So in the month of May, the darling birds, many people say that these darling birds may be the rose. So these darling birds fall down. So this is another drawback of summer, that due to the heavy rough winds blow during this time, and it causes destruction to the darling birds of May. And summer's lease hath all too short a date. Summer's lease means duration. Summer's span is very short. Summer's lease hath means has, all too short a date. So summer's duration is very limited. So summer is short-lived in England. You know that in our country, winter is short-lived. Winter only 2 or 3 months of winter. In England, the summer is also short-lived. Only 2 or 3 months are meant to be summer, regarded as summer. So that's why summer's lease hath all too short a date. So summer's duration is very short. So this is another drawback of summer. Sometimes too hot, the eye of heaven shines. Eye of heaven, it is called periphrasis, figure of speech. Eye of heaven means that sun. Sometimes in summer, the sun shines in a hot fashion. So sun shines brightly, so it causes much warmth that is quite unnecessary. So that is another drawback of summer, because the eye of heaven, that is the sun, shines quite brightly. So when we feel too much warmth during this summer because of the sun. And often is his gold complexion dimmed. So sun is the masculine gender. You remember that. That's why it is said to be his. And often is his gold complexion dim. Gold complexion, the color of the sunlight, gold complexion, golden color, and it is dim. Dim means that it is covered. Sometimes the patches of cloud covers the sun. That's why its light becomes dimmed. So it is another drawback of summer. And every fair from fair sometimes declines. Every fair, it is very universal truth. Remember that. First fair means that fair object, beautiful object of nature. So every beautiful object of nature, from their fairness, sometimes declines. The first fair is beautiful object of nature, living creature, living beautiful object of nature, and second fair is the fairness. So every beautiful living objects of nature faces declination. Their beauty falls down. Their beauty diminishes with the passage. How the beauty of every living creature or nature falls or diminishes. How? By chance, by accident, or nature's changing course untrimmed. Nature's changing course means that natural law. As time passes, we all grow. We are growing. Every moment our age is getting up. So every moment we are growing. So as a result, our beauty is also declines with the passage of time. So as per natural law, our beauty just decreases with the passage of time. So two reasons are mentioned by Shakespeare, because for which the beauty decreases. One is accident, another is natural law. But thy eternal summer shall not fade. But eternal summer means that eternal youth. But thy or beauty. But thy means your means the friends. But friends' eternal beauty shall not fade. But your beauty will not decline. Nor lose possession of the fair thou owest. So the lose possession of the fair thou owest. The beauty, the fairness that you are possessing, that beauty will not decline. You will not just you will not be robbed of that beauty. The beauty that you have, you will not be robbed of that beauty. So your beauty remain intact. Your beauty will not be diminished by any means, will not fall down by any means, will not come down by any means, and the destruction will never touch you. Okay, so nor shall death brag the wonders in his said. Death is personified here. death is bragging. So human, as if death is a human being and it is bragging. So death will never be able to brag the wondrous is said. Death will not be able to brag the wondrous is said, meaning that death will never have any hand on you. Death will not be able to claim you. So death, you will not be touched by death. So death captures everyone. We all will die with the passage of time. Someday or other we will die. But Shakespeare's friend will not die. Why? When in eternal lines to time thou grows. So you are growing. So grafting imagery. So grafting imagery. So grafting imagery has been mentioned here. So it is a metaphor. When in eternal lines to time thou growest, you will be growing in the eternal lines to time. That is in the lines of poetry, in the lines of verse. So you are growing, you are developing in the verse. Your growth is continuing in the verse. So as people will read the verse, they will come to know about you. So there so your development, your growth is done in the verse that I am writing. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this gives life to thee. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, as long as people will survive, as long as civilization will be there, or people can see, as long as they will be living, so long lives this, as long as this poetry, this means the poetry, this poetry will be there, this poetry will give life to those. So through this poetry you will be known to the world. So people are reading your poetry, as we are reading now the poetry of Shakespeare. So we come to know about the beauty of Shakespeare's friend. So in this way, generation after generation, Shakespeare's friend will be remain in the mind of the people. So in this way, the friend of William Shakespeare is immortalized. So that is the main theme, that is the verse immortality, through which Shakespeare has immortalized his friend. Okay.